I'm Catherine Gladwin, and I started my career when I was about 17 as a secretary, and progressed to PA, or secretaries were PAs, weren't they? I became an admin manager as well. I managed a team of 11 administrators. I was an EA. And then in 2015, late 2015, my health took over. I could no longer cope with a 9 till 5 because of various problems that are still ongoing today and endless hospital appointments. And I decided to turn my skills into becoming a virtual assistant, which is on the whole very, very similar to being a PA or EA. But there are certain things that as a virtual assistant, as I'm sure you know, a virtual assistant is their own business owner. We're not employed by anybody. There are certain things that I kind of wish I knew when I was a PA or EA to make my life a little bit easier. This is in no way patronising. I'm not telling you how to do your job, because you do your job wonderfully. You are the backbone of whatever business you're in. I just wanted to share a couple of tips with you to hopefully kind of make your life a little bit easier, as I said, make your home life easier, make the mind a little bit easier, which is what we all need. We need less stress in our life. And also to give you some tips on perhaps trying to get a bit more money out of your employers. So the three things I wanted to mainly cover today: work-life balance, mindset, and know your worth. So there's not going to be an opportunity for a live Q&A at the end, but I'd like to invite you to connect with me on LinkedIn, send me an email via my website, which is catherinegladwin.co.uk, or send me a DM on LinkedIn. I'm not currently on Facebook. I've come off of there. I'm just recovering from some surgery. So I've come off of there because I can't be doing with the stress of that either. I'm all for less stress in life. So a little bit more about me. I'm an author. I'm a virtual assistant, and I'm also a mentor, although I'm slowing that down a little bit, again, for health reasons. So as I said, I started my virtual assistant business in late 2015, and it transformed my life completely. It went from stressed, tired, only using the weekends. I'm sure some of you can relate to this next bit, only using the weekends to do what you want to do. If you've got children or anybody else at home, whether that's a partner or an elderly relative that you're caring for, you're spending time with them and you've just got no time for yourself. Work is almost like an escape, but then it's not, because you're still not focusing on you. You're focusing on everybody else if you're a PA or an EA. So running my own business, like I said, just completely transformed my life. And I thought, this is amazing. And I wanted other people, still do want other people to experience that as well. You know, the definition of work in the dictionary does not say life limiting. It doesn't say stress, depressing, or anything like that, tiring. It shouldn't be about that. It's about us wanting to create a nice life for ourselves in the future, or at the weekends, or in the evenings, not being too tired to do things. So I thought, I'm going to write this book and help other people become a virtual assistant and start their own business. And I thought, if I help, I know it's a cliche, but I thought if I just help 10 people, I'm happy, because I just want other people to experience it. And as soon as I published the book, it just went mental. It was listed in the newspaper as one of the 10 best business books written by women. It's been mentioned in The Guardian. It's been a bestseller numerous times in relevant categories. So home business, secretarial, small business. It's ranked above Elon Musk, Simon Sinek, Seth Godin, and it's just been mad. And a lot of people, hundreds of women, mainly women, have transformed their lives and become a virtual assistant. So that was just mad. I also position myself as one of the most prominent, successful VAs in the UK. I'm regularly featured in the press. People know me as a VA. People come to me as a VA. I'm now a VA agency, so I don't tend to do much of the VA work myself. And that's not because I'm a lazy sod. It's because of my health again. So what I do is I take on the clients and I outsource them to my associate VAs, which enables me to still get an income while being able to just rest from. Recently, I've had surgery. I'll be having radiotherapy soon. I'll be having chemotherapy and potentially more surgery as well. So, and I've got something called Addison's disease, which means I'm very tired all the time and cannot have stress in my life. So this works best for me. So that's why the VA business has taken off well. And I'm also a mentor as well. I do help a limited amount of people go from employee to business owner. I've helped people turn their businesses into, they're earning £3,000 to £5,000 a month through their VA work. I've got testimonials for that. It seems unrealistic. It is more than achievable. With hard work, it is more than achievable. But you know what? That is enough about me. What we're here to talk about is what you guys can learn from us virtual assistants. So first of all, now I had some branding shots done back in October, so there's going to be an overwhelm of those pictures on me. I've got to get the most out of them, haven't I? So it's one of those. To match the first bit that I wanted to talk about is work-life balance. We all want that. But you know what? No, not everybody wants it. Some people are perfectly happy just focusing their whole life on their career, and that is absolutely fine too. But for those of you that do want a little bit more work-life balance, I've got some tips that I've learned. So it's not me saying you've been doing this wrong and you need to be doing it this way. It's things that I've learned now that I'm running my own business that I didn't do prior. So maybe some of them will be useful to you. Maybe you're already doing some of them. So this is just a few. So I think one of the main things is when you're perhaps focusing on a small number of directors or executives that you're helping, you take over their life and you worry about them. You're worried whether they've got on that flight. You're worried whether they've got the right train. Have they got the papers for this meeting? Do they even know about that meeting that you put in the diary? Have they replied to that email you sent them at 4:45 on Friday night and you're checking it on a Sunday night or something like that? I remember that, checking your emails on a Sunday night. So what I do now as a business owner, and I'll talk more about that in section 3, why I do it is remove yourself from apps that remind you of work. So if you're logging into webmail or Outlook on your phone, or when you've got the laptop open, if you're looking at, I don't know, Next, Waitrose, ordering your shopping or something, you think, while I'm online, I'll just check my emails at work or something like that. Stop it. Remove those apps. Remove the access from your personal devices because, like I say, they're personal. Get away from them. I know you want to. I know it may be helping relieve some of the pressure when you get to work on Monday, but tough. If you were poorly all weekend, you couldn't check them. If you were in hospital for any length of time, you couldn't check them, and the world would still keep turning. Things would still keep happening. You are employed Monday to Friday, more than likely 9 till 5, maybe less hours, maybe you flexibly work, something like that. I'll just use that generically, but you're employed for set hours. So don't be checking anything to do with work outside of those hours, and certainly not when you're on holiday. Something that has been life-changing for me is having an app blocker on my phone. It is literally called app blocker, and I've got it set at the moment from 7:30 at night till 8 a.m. the next morning, so that if I wake up in the night, or if most of the good telly starts at 8 o'clock in the evening, doesn't it? Or maybe children are going to bed then, or you've actually got control of the remote control then, something like that. I block the apps and I block Facebook. I'm not on Facebook at the moment, but I blocked Facebook, I blocked Twitter, I blocked Instagram. I haven't blocked TikTok because I've just found that and I'm a bit addicted to that at the moment. I've blocked my email and any other apps that I associate with, getting lost in a scrolling cycle. So LinkedIn is one of them. I can get stuck on there, or anything that just takes over my time. Like I said, TikTok's not yet on there, but I think that's going to have to get on there soon. So yeah, blocking the apps in the evening, and then also it stops you when you wake up at like 4 a.m. for that wee, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm not going to get back to sleep, I might as well look at my phone. And you're then stuck in a work cycle or something like that. So block the apps that are anything to do with not fun, or that are just taking over too much of your time. So another thing to do, and this is going to be one of those sucking in ones, a bit controversial, but teach your directors, teach your team to cope without you. During the pandemic, so something, I'll just step back a minute, but something I've always noticed. So when I used to manage directors' diaries and things like that, if the director wasn't in the office, nobody would be asking you where he is, or could they phone him, or could they speak to him a minute. But as soon as he was in the office, they'd be in and out of near his desk area or in his private office, asking questions. People couldn't cope when he was there, but they could cope when he wasn't. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining that properly. Probably not. But when somebody is visible, people go and ask them questions as opposed to thinking for themselves. So kind of do things to teach your director to not be so reliant on you. And I'm not trying to take work away from you, but it's things like if you struggle to begin with to not check your emails on a Sunday night and your director has emailed, don't reply straight away. Wait until 9 a.m. or whenever your day starts on Monday or Tuesday, or whenever your week starts. You can, if you use Gmail, you can download this thing called schedule email. So what I do sometimes with my clients is I will reply on a Sunday night, but I'll schedule the email to send at 9 o'clock on a Monday or 10 o'clock on a Monday or the next day I'm working, so that they don't think I'm at their beck and call whenever they need something. That's teaching them to cope. I'm not saying to just like say, do you know what, just book your own train tickets, because you're doing yourself out of work then, aren't you? But little things like that. When it's your lunch break, leave the office, go away from the office, go and have your sandwiches somewhere else. Don't sit at your desk and have them because you're visible. When you're visible, people think, oh, I'll ask her instead, because I can't be bothered to think for myself. Setting boundaries. It's never too late to set boundaries. If any of you are mothers, you're going to know this, you're going to nod. If any of you have got elderly relatives as well, parents, you've got to set boundaries with them as well. Anybody in your life, you've got to set boundaries. If you think to yourself, do you know what, it's too late, I've let him or her get away with it for too long. It's not. You can change at any time. So with my clients, and it's a little bit different because I'm self-employed, but with my clients, I don't let them phone me. We don't phone. If they want to get in touch with me, they can email me. I'm very, very good on email. I always reply very, very quickly. I deal with my own emails. I don't accept phone calls, because phone calls are never just a few minutes. You always start it with, hi, how are you? Are you okay? How's your week? Which is all very nice, but it's taken up my time. And we'll talk more about that in a minute under Know Your Worth. Or actually, we'll talk about it under mindset as well. But yes, setting boundaries. So personally, I don't want clients to phone me. I don't want them phoning me. If they try and give me instructions for work via WhatsApp, I reply and say, could you email me? WhatsApp's for family. I will just forget. And that is the truth. Sometimes even if I'll look at my phone late at night, and my daughter has WhatsApped me or something, you can guarantee I've forgotten the next morning to reply or something like that. So set boundaries. They're my personal boundaries, but set boundaries. You could say if your director has got used to getting in touch with you on a Sunday night to find out what his diary is like on a Monday, you could stop that if that's not suiting you and say, I'm just going to send it to you on a Friday at 5 p.m. now. Nothing's going to change over the weekend. So there it is. I'm finding it a bit tiring for you to get in touch Sunday night. You can word it a little less bluntly than me. I am quite blunt with people, but yeah. So think about what boundaries, think about what's annoying you, what's kind of taking up so much of your time or encroaching on your personal time, and think about stopping those people doing that. It might work for them, but that doesn't mean it works for you, and you're more than entitled to change things if you want to. So point 2 is mindset. So one thing I learned, let's just go back and just take, in those branding photos I had done, because we need to make the most of those. They did cost a bit of money. Okay, we can move on now. Changing the language. So one of the things that was massive for me as a business owner is that I'm not employed, as I said, is changing the language. So I work with and not for somebody. And there's no reason why you can't use that language as well as an employee. You work with somebody. So you're employed by the company, yes, but the director or the department that you work for, you're working with them. You are part of them. So you're not their skivvy or anything like that. You are an equal to them. And I think that's a massive shift. It's certainly a massive shift as a business owner to know that you are an equal. I think it stems possibly, I'm making this up, but it stems possibly from the old secretarial pool where you'd be on call, you know, if somebody wanted something, the woman would run and sort it out. And, you know, it is ingrained in us kind of, isn't it? You know, that we work like that. But it's exhausting, and the role has completely evolved over the years. You are massively instrumental to the running of the business, and that's not to be dismissed. Without you, it would fall apart. You too are a leader, and we need to think about the enormous difference that you're making to your directors or your department's life. Just kind of sit back and think about everything that you do for them. If you were to hand your notice in tomorrow and you had to write down everything that you do for your replacement, it's going to be huge. And there's going to be so much stuff that you just do automatically and think, oh, I don't need to show my replacement that because that's really easy. Nah. It might be easy to somebody that's been in the PA world for a while, but to your director or your department, they're not going to have a clue how to do most of what you do because their expertise lies somewhere else. Their expertise, so if you were working for a marketing department, their expertise is in how to talk to potential customers, how to perhaps sell to potential customers, how to write content for selling the latest product, the latest service or something like that. That's their expertise. They don't know how to do what you're doing, how to juggle multiple things, how to make sure somebody is in location A and they can get to location B in time for a meeting, being able to walk between stations, or, you know, that does not come naturally to a lot of people. It certainly doesn't come naturally to me either these days. I could put somebody in the wrong part of the world quite easily. So it wouldn't hurt for you to write down everything that you do, just even if it's bullet points, just write it down, just so that you can reflect and think, Jesus, this is the difference I'm making. There is no way they would cope without me. And for those watching in the UK, and I'm sure it's pretty much similar in the US, we are really bad at bigging ourselves up and letting people know that, God, we're good. But that's something you have to do as a business owner. And there's nothing to say you shouldn't be doing that as an employee, because you are making an enormous difference. And if you say that to yourself every morning after you've written your bullet list of everything that you do, then you will realize how important you are to people, and you will stop this wanting to please all the time, and you'll realize that you're on a par with them. Now, the reason I've spoken about that is not only does it fit with the work-life balance to show that you are worthy of that work-life balance, but also the next bit that I'm going on to is to know your worth. So we got another branding shot there. We'll just take a moment there. And then, okay, so knowing your worth. We've just spoken about mindset. We've just spoken about work-life balance. And now we're going to talk about the money side of things. We all want more money from time to time, don't we? You know, we always live to our means. So it can sometimes be irrelevant what you're earning, because you buy better stuff, don't you? Sometimes you can go to Waitrose instead of Aldi. I still go to Aldi. I prefer Aldi. So knowing your worth. One of the main things we have to learn when we're a business owner is seeing every hour as our hourly rate. Now, as a virtual assistant, I charge £35 an hour. That's not excessive. That's what I tell all of my mentees to charge. It can be anything from 25 to 35. It shouldn't be any lower than that, because you've got tax, you've got national insurance in the UK. You don't get any sick pay, you don't get any holiday pay. So it is about what an employee pays when they're paying pensions and things like that. So if my hourly rate is £35 an hour, if I give somebody my time for free, or if I do something else other than work, then I'm losing money. So when I say that I don't accept phone calls from my clients, a lot of that is to do with being unable to charge, because if people don't book a call in with me and they just call ad hoc, it's like, well, I'm in the middle of something else. If I'm talking to you, I can't be earning money. So look at your every hour as hourly pay as well. And that should hopefully stop you working on a Sunday night or working extra hours or working through your lunch break. And also enable you to stop saying yes to everything because you feel that you have to. Once you start thinking, do you know what? I'm not paid for this. It doesn't get you back up, but you can say to somebody, do you know what? I need to take a lunch break at the moment. I've not had a lunch break yet. I'm allowed an hour, so I'll be back in an hour to do that. Nothing is life-changing. Unless you are working with a surgeon within the theatre, nobody's going to die. Nothing's going to go drastically wrong. The world isn't going to end. And you are worth so much more. And it enables you to get that work-life balance. Another thing is when you've written your bullet points of everything you've done, which we talked about in number 2, is to think about what you're actually worth to them. So when I said that I charge £35 an hour, some of you may have been like, whoa, how much? But if you think about how much your director or the managers that you work with are earning an hour, and you think about the pension that they get, the holiday pay and the sick pay, they're earning a lot more than you. My clients earn a lot more than me. I've got one client that charges £475 an hour. So the £35 an hour that I charge her is a drop in the ocean, really. If I wasn't doing that work for her at £35 an hour and she had to do it herself, it would be costing her £475 an hour because she can't work that hour with her clients. So she's quids in if she's having somebody do it for £35 an hour. So I'm talking in pounds because I know a lot of the audience are UK based. So if you're working in the UK as a PA, kind of lost track with what wages are now. So I'm going to guess you're earning between £10 and £15 an hour. But if you think about what your director's earning, you are saving them a hell of a lot of money and time and stress. So when I say think about what you're actually worth to them, it's not just about the money, it's about the stress as well. So let's think about, are you being paid enough? Okay, and you're probably going to go, no, we're never paid enough, are we? No, absolutely not. You probably aren't being paid enough given what you're doing, the stress you're taking away from somebody, what it's worth to them, as we just said, the hours that you're putting in, the work-life balance that you're not getting from it. So all of those things can be taken into a meeting with HR or with your director or anybody like that to have that conversation about getting a little bit more money. I mean, I'm not going to tell you to go in there and go, do you know what? I know this VA. I've just listened to her slot on the VA Summit and a Practically Perfect PA Summit. And she's earning £35 an hour. So I want that, because you're not going to get that because they're probably giving you sick pay. They're paying into a pension. They're giving you holiday pay and things like that. But when you've written your bullet points of everything that you've done, you've considered what you're actually worth to everybody, you can go in and sell it like that and talk about a pay rise, because I don't think you're paid enough. I really don't think you're paid enough. And you can go in and have that conversation. You don't need to be working more hours to have more money. They just need to realize exactly what you're doing, because I think sometimes they are stuck, as we are almost, in the old secretarial pool. And we still think that we need to be running around after people and we need to be there. So perhaps go and have that conversation. When I first started as a VA, I was charging £18 an hour. I'm now charging 35, which means I can work less hours to earn just as I would be in a full-time job. I'm currently on sick leave and my associates are working for me. But when I was working at full capacity was just 4 hours a day. And I was saving £4 to £5 grand a month after paying bills and things like that. So knowing your worth is so very, very important, and knowing the change that you make, because it makes it easier to ask for that money.